Sunday evening, Springfield, Massachusetts. Today is August 15th, 2021. This happens to be episode 131 of Sportstalk. I am, as you guessed it, Rahim Escalado. I hope everybody's doing well. As you can see, I'd like to represent the best team in the NFL, best team in the NFC. We're going to the Super Bowl. And AC/DC, one of the best rock bands ever. What do I have for you? Last night was a remarkable night for preseason football. We saw the likes of Zach Wilson debut. Trevor Lawrence had an alright game. And plenty other soon-to-be stars who are rookies in 2021. Shine, put on, and let everybody know, we're here. Also, I have scores from Major League Baseball. The NBA Summer League continues, and I have a preview for a fantasy section that we're going to be discussing in episode 132, which is set to air Monday night. So let's just get into the news and get into the show. 413 Sports Talk will be at the South End Community Center for Girls and Boys Mass First Connecticut All-Stars. What happened with that was Taco Bell, and today was, I stupidly took my medicine and, interacted with my sugar medicine in a bad way. My lorazepam, a little bouts of depression I go through. Sorry for personal shit. Now, turning gears. Trevor Bauer is the subject of a protective order, 209A, if you're famous for beefing with your girlfriend in Springfield, Mass, that's usually what they call it, from an Ohio woman in 2020. Obviously he denies it, and honestly, Trevor Bauer, you don't need administrative leave. You need to own up to what happened, and you need prison, or you need a fine, or you need anger management, or something. This is patterns with different women, and being abusive, being demeaning, that's not good. It's not. I certainly hope he gets punished to the max. It's not going to be me. I'm not a judge, jury, executioner, but wrong is wrong. Justin Fields literally slipped on the floor. And then he goes on a nasty touchdown run followed by a decent touchdown pass. What I'm trying to say is this guy looks ready. Arizona Diamondbacks rookie pitcher Tyler Gilbert threw a no-hitter in his first career Major League start, in which I happen to be flipping through and watching. The curveball, the circle changed, but they call it something different now. Two of his best pitches, I really haven't met anyone dating back to the 90s, from the 90s until now, that can hit the circle change. Very impressive. Justin Fields' touchdown pass first in his NFL debut, it was a 32-yard to Jesse James. New York Yankees reliever, here's a little mutiny for you. Zach Britton to manager Aaron Boone, remove me from the closer position. Honestly, the Yankees bullpen, you guys don't have any room to talk, especially with the amount of egregious inconsistency. Tanaka, all through the lineup, even what's his face, Aaron Judge. There's inconsistencies all over for the best team in baseball. That really needs a manager with a pair of balls and just a better team. The Yankees, they'll get it, right? The rich just keep getting richer. Vic Fangio, Broncos head coach, former Chicago Bears defensive coordinator, gave us Packers a lot of headaches. Broncos quarterbacks sit even as both impress the old ball coach. Well, the other day on 413 Sports Talk, I had mentioned that in the week I was going to break down the Denver Broncos quarterback situation. And though they were neck and neck, I could give you a winner. Vic Fangio kind of is waiting, like most coaches, till week 3 to go with that decision. Some great news for Coach Deion Bird and the Dallas Cowboys. Dak's shoulder is healing extremely well, as the second MRI proved today. So congratulations to Dak again. I'm harsh on him. I'm always harsh on the Cowboys. And my thing is that I didn't think he was going to get all that money, or the guaranteed money. I didn't think he was gonna, hit the little marks in which he was supposed to get the additional pay. Because of injuries. That ankle injury last year, I was watching it with a certain someone who's not in my life anymore, and that had to be honestly like one of the grossest leg injuries ever. And the way he recovered, how quickly he recovered, and I know the shoulder scared everybody, but dude, Dak is here. Dallas is back. We them boys. First of all, motherfucking we'd probably go 4-13. But that looks good though. That Dak's at least gonna come out this year paid. Zeke was looking good in training camps last week and the week before. I had a chance to view him on the NFL Network. So stay healthy, keep Jerry Jones the fuck off the field, and the Dallas Cowboys just might be a team this year. Michael Thomas traveled with the Saints as they go on road. Tensions seem to have dissipated between the two. Like he wants to be paid. I think he should. Michael Thomas is, however, going to make the market, I believe, depending on between him and Devontae Adams, whoever gets their deal first. The next one will come down. Honestly, Devontae Adams from Green Bay Packer, yeah, go Pack, go. 100% completely deserves a new deal with extra years and extra millions. Devontae Adams is the best wideout in football. Any arguments, see me whenever. And finally, Muhammad Ali's grandson scores a TKO to win his very first professional boxing debut. It was awesome. Good news, man. That got me feeling good. All right, so I have NFL preseason for you. Again, it's preseason, so it's boring. But all the teams, I put little stars next to guys who were projected based upon last year, previous years, the production. So these specific names that you hear, nobody's guaranteed to make the team. But these gentlemen are definitely heavy favorites. So let's get beautiful night. Sorry. Anyway, we got Chicago Bears 20, Miami Dolphins 13. Do you guys know, as of some of the later episodes, I've really been a fan of the Dolphins, their GM, and how they put the team together. I don't like the fact, however, that Tua is a left-handed quarterback, so that's that doesn't really sit well with me. Anyway, Tua, he played for 4 series, sorry. But let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Wow, never thought I'd say that. Go Pack, go. Justin Fields took everyone's attention. Um, 14 for 20, 142 yards, a ton. Also, he rushed 5 times for 32 yards and another score. It was a pretty good debut. I believe that this kid is gonna build from this. Granted, it's not regular season. He's not seeing real defenses. He's seeing the like soft coverages, stuff like that. But for a rookie to come in and do that, that's second to none. And 14 for 20 is pretty damn accurate too. So we will see tomorrow when I release the entire week 2 slate of preseason NFL games. Continuing on with the Bears, big bleep Nick Foles. I wonder if any of y'all caught that. 1 for 3, 8 yards. Andy Dalton 2 for 4, 18 yards. It is worth noting that Andy Dalton has already been penciled in as a starting quarterback and has so since like the spring. And I think that was a great mental thing for Justin Fields. To come in and know that, honestly, looking at the roster, you're the best fucking quarterback they have. To know that all that pressure wasn't on you to be great early. And for him to go out there and just play it cool, I think tripped a little bit. I think this guy's going to be a star. I like him in Ohio State, and I think I like him in the NFL. It's good rushing. Artavius Pierce, newcomer for the Bears. 5 carries, 50 yards. Another guy's, he's on the practice squad last year. Ryan Nall, 3 carries for 3 yards. Jesse James had a touchdown, and that's about it. And there's not a lot of scoring in the preseason. It sucks because we love offensive football. But yeah, 2013 Bears over the Dolphins. Now this game, and I'm going to kind of bring my other segment into this score. The Denver Broncos beat the Minnesota Vikings 33-6. So the quarterback competition here, Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. First of all, Teddy Bridgewater is always in these positions, it seems like, with Minnesota, with Carolina, and yet again here with Denver. Though last year before he got hurt, he was fucking it up. It was a sight to see. I don't understand Vic Fangio going with the quarterback competition here, but I've had like 3 or 4 days to think about it. I think Teddy's gonna get it. But like I said, it's worth noting how Teddy Bridgewater has been in these different positions that are ultimately similar. I never doubted Teddy's skill. He has an arm, he can fucking run. He's just not very good at protecting himself. If you guys remember that concussion that knocked him the fuck out during a live game. I just want to see if he does smarter running. And most quarterbacks do, especially reaching their latter 20s, early 30s. So yeah, Drew Lock was a cool 5 for 7, 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. Damn near perfect rating. Teddy B, 7 for 8, also for a touchdown too. I know the production in the preseason is a criteria that coaches go by. One of the criteria that coaches go by when compiling the 53-man roster, which the beginning of September. How do I feel about this? I think Teddy B. Personally, I think Teddy B. should be the starter. What's probably going to happen is Drew Lock is going to play the second half of week 2. Teddy B. is going to get a start for week 2. So yeah, they're switching around, and I don't know. I got to see who they're playing. I think I'm going to go over that tomorrow as well. But it looks like a pretty tight race so far, but Teddy B is the one that's going to win. But you know how stuff goes in this country, so it could end up being Drew Lock, who was horrible last year. Like, I don't know. Now moving on to the rushing side, Denver killed it. Demarie Crockett, 16 rushes. Oh.
I'm just locking it up.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Just offense over the lead.
Alright. Security. Yeah, so Minnesota, 6 points. I like the fact that Kellen Mond was able to get healthy. Recently had a bout with COVID. 6 for 16, 53 yards. I like Kellen Mond's deep throw. That is something of the other quarterbacks that I've seen in the 2020 draft. This dude spirals tight as fuck. Texas A&M product who kind of, he was that long release, you know, he got made fun of for that. Consistently passed for over 3,000 yards, 3 consecutive years. Kellen Mond should have been in the first round. Had he a year, maybe they would have to go 2 inside the top 15 for the coaches poll. But I think in some way, I haven't smoked yet. I think that Kellen Mond is better than Kirk Cousins. I don't know. I think Kirk Cousins got paid $84 million to throw ducks and incomplete passes. Another guy you gotta keep your eyes on for all you fantasy football guys. AJ Rose Jr. His dad played defensive back in the 80s, I believe. Yeah, that's what I had down there, 80s. Anyway, 25 carries for a buck on the ground. And he also put in work with the long catch, 18 yards. Was called back. It wasn't a touchdown, but in my eyes, it was. Fuck the refs. So yes, there's the Denver Minnesota game. Baltimore over the Saints, 17-14. Now, what happened after this game between Coach Sean Payton and the reporter kind of got me, because this is something you need to talk about here. Because wait for it, in my opinion, on quarterback Taysom Hill. So, Baltimore, as you know, Lamar didn't play. Trace McSorley played for Texas. 2018 draft, 6 for 16, 53 yards. You already know what it is with you already know what it is with the Baltimore quarterbacks. Is everybody's just in this position, keeping the seat warm for Lamar Jackson. A guy you want to put your eyes on for the Baltimore Ravens is Tyler Huntley. Man, I did not know he was that good. He went for 7 carries, 43 yards on the ground, as well as 12 for 16. Only 79 passing. He was accurate, and the dude's fast. And I think for an extra goal prediction, he earns the quarterback number 2 spot. We'll just throw that out there. Tremont Williams, he was new from the Raiders, I believe. And Jalen Moore, 2 catches, 32 yards. And the last section I did from the NFL, the next up, number 21, Devin Duvernay, if you remember him. The Baltimore Ravens wideout. He had an okay game, 4 catches for 28 yards, but what's more important is the fact that first-round wideout Rashad Bateman is going to be out with groin surgery. So this is going to open up more catches for Brown, for potentially for Duvernay. Mark Andrews always going to get his. So watch for this guy to get better. Not to say he's rookie of the year, but he will be a name that you remember, most definitely. So that's Baltimore Saints, 17-14. Cleveland Browns 23, Jacksonville Jaguars 13. We'll get into this to the blonde fucker in a minute. Cleveland Browns, they impressed me on paper. They impressed me at camp. But this guy, Kyle Lauretta, 19 to 27, 212 and 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield didn't play, and this guy had the ball the entire game. The Cleveland Browns must know something that we don't, because this guy went fucking ham. Corey Taylor, 6 rushes, 17 yards. He's a third down back that's getting time because it's the preseason. Who we have? Darian Davis, 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown, including that one-handed grab to get that. He was somebody I had in the springtime when I was doing the college wideouts as my fringe guys, as one of my fringe guys. Along with Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman kind of like picked it up at the end of the year, so obviously he outshined him. But now that the tables are turned and he's gonna have the preseason playing because Landry and OBJ, David Njoku, and the other Browns tight end are going to get majority of those catches. Don't forget Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, who just recently got paid. So Browns 23, Jacksonville Jaguars 13. The embarrassment of a quarterback who used to play for the San Francisco 49ers, CJ Beathard, 13-16, 102 and a tud. That's all right. He did start too, so Jake Luton came in for like 10 minutes, went 8 of 13 for 53 and a touchdown as well. Who didn't have a touchdown but had a very good outing first time. Trevor Lawrence was 6 for 9, 71 yards and a fumble, yet scored a touchdown. That will happen next week. Again, I want the Jaguars to succeed. I think they have good draft picks all around. You know, they got Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and then Wyatt Sellers, the kid from Stanford. So I like that. I like the fact that they got pieces all around, but this is not the year to consider the Jacksonville Jaguars a playoff team. Moving on, finally Tampa Bay fucking lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, 19-14. So it is question marks galore as far as the Cincinnati Bengals starting quarterback spot. But Kyle Shermer Jr.? No, Kyle Shermer as Pat Shermer's son. Offensive coordinator who can't keep a head coaching job in the NFL. 12-19, went away in a pick. Brandon Allen went 7 for 10, 77 yards in a pick. Brandon Allen, somebody told me about him like 3 years ago. Said he was really fucking nice. I've seen him like as a backup, but in the Madden games, he's pretty damn good. This needs to be explained to me as well. Dare Ogunbowale, 8 carries, 24 yards, but that's nothing because we've seen him turn it up before. Rushed for well over 100. And on to my favorite player on this team, Jamar Chase. One catch for 15 yards. He wasn't really like locked down. He just didn't see the ball after a certain point. I've ranked him, evaluated him throughout college. Jamar Chase to me is a faster Larry Fitzgerald with the same skill set as far as making the contested catch. Another thing I've noticed about Jamar Chase is he's very smooth in his hips and the way he moves and continues speed in and out of cuts. And if you can do that consistently, that's one of the most sought after talents in the NFL. So yes, Jamar Chase is going to build off the one catch game. I haven't heard anybody speak on his name as far as being a starter. They got Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd is the number one on the left side, so he will spell relief. And the rest of that roster will will fall in. I don't know. There's a bunch of losers and a former Heisman Trophy winner who tore his ACL MCL. Tampa Bay 14. Tom Brady did not play. He's a little too old for preseason. But Blaine Gabbert, Mr. Interception. When he was a Jacksonville Jaguar, those days were embarrassing. 6 for 11, 64, and Ryan Griffin also threw 11 passes completed, 47 yards, but 2 stupid picks. One when he wasn't even getting pressured, 2nd and 8, second quarter, I believe. And then as his time expired, he was sacked again. And as far as receivers, who do I like? Keyshawn's a running back, but Keyshawn Vaughn did all right. Scored a rushing touchdown, 3 catches, 15 yards. Denzel Mims, 3 catches for 51 yards. If you do remember the NFC North and Denzel Mims, who was he on? What team was he on when he got suspended? The Chicago Bears. For that fight against the Jets. Ridiculous. So since he beat Tampa Bay, and now another low-scoring game, in which my little brother's team lost. Battle of New York. Jets beat the Giants 12-7. Oh man, with the Jets. Wow. Michael White started the games, 13 to 19, 127 yards. Zach Wilson, 6 for 9, 63. Also scrambling a little bit, but they were being a little too protective of him. You need to let him out there at least for half a quarter. I didn't really think in college he was injury prone, but this morning when I went over this, I didn't realize he was like 6'1", 210. That's little for a quarterback. So James Morgan, he was 5 for 9, 45 yards, and Jordan Morgan was 5 for 9, 45 yards. The difference between the two, one was a quarterback and one was a halfback. And just wanted to write it like that. So the Giants 7. Clayton Thorson, never heard of him in my life, 5 for 16, 72 yards in the score. Sandro Platzengame, 4 rushes, 51 yards, including this ridiculous ankle break disaster at the 32-yard line. Go back and watch that. So who else do I have? Oh, Damian Wills and Kadarius Toney are going to be the 2 guys for the Giants. Damian Wills can get locked down fairly easy, but Kadarius Toney is, when I saw him in Florida, a generational talent. Percy Harvin, but faster. And I don't think that's possible. So, Giants had a touchdown. It is what it is. Again, this is just preseason. Please do not say anything. Houston Texans 26, Green Bay Packers 7. Wow. My boy from the Stanford Cardinals, Davis Mills, got a chance to start his NFL debut. 50% completion percentage, 112 yards a pick. Tyrod Taylor was 100% complete, 40 yards, and they quickly sat him down too. I mean, when you get punctured lungs, you kind of got to chill out. Tyrod Taylor, this is all like a long horse thing. Tyrod Taylor's going to win the starting position because Deshaun's legal troubles might get in the way. Just a prediction. I don't know. I'm not hating or anything like that. But Scotty Phillips ran it 13 times for 66 yards and a touchdown, as rookie Darius Jackson only did 5 for 37 in the score. When these rookie running backs score touchdowns in the preseason, it's like they're just like going up golden stairs as far as going up the depth chart. So you know what this is. It's like a passing league. So these guys are fucking hungry, and they're going to run you over, run around you, make the catch, and continue running. But I really like Scotty Phillips and Darius Jackson. I paid more attention to Darius Jackson in college, if that means anything. Chris Conley, 4 catches, 51 yards, and Nico Collins had a catch for 25. This guy's had a bumpy road as far as like cracking a lineup. And Nico Collins is one of my top 50 wideouts to watch this year. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does. So Green Bay, we had 7. Though I was impressed with Jordan Love and the way he played. When he came out of college, I heard a lot of scouts talking about the next Patrick Mahomes, and let me fucking tell you something. The next Patrick Mahomes wears number 5 for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll get into that in a couple minutes. Jordan Love played good, 122 on the ground, in the air, touchdown. My boy, on Twitter, we talk very often, quarterback Kurt Baker was 8 for 12, 84 yards. He threw a pick that he kind of didn't need to on a back shoulder throw, which is, I've never really seen quarterbacks throw picks when it's that type of route, but I don't know. Dex Williams is back. As you know, last season he was injured. He looked strong, 4 rushes, 32 yards, and 2 catches as well. Patrick Taylor, he had a better game, but he's not a rusher. We have him as like an H-back, or at times he lines up in fullback, which he's just blocking. Devin Funchess, who was completely missing last year, after we signed him from the Eagles, 6 catches, 70 yards. Malik Taylor, 5 for 50. And my boy, Kylan Hill. Kylan fucking Hill, if you've seen this guy. The Tyreek Hill, the speed, the cuts, the jukes. Kylan's going to be a star. And hopefully our management respects the stars and gets some of these new guys in 4 or 5 years extended and keep them in Green Bay. So that was it. And next week we'll hopefully do better. Kansas City Chiefs 19, San Francisco 49ers 16. Kansas City Chiefs, you know your boy did not play. Patrick Mahomes sitting on the sidelines. Anthony Gordon 11 for 17. None of these numbers are really anything to wow about, except Shane Buechele. He had a rushing touchdown. He's 8 for 11, 76 yards. He's the man. His brother is the second quarterback for SMU. I was privileged enough to watch them last night. They played Kansas. They were the 25th ranked team right now in NCAA football. What else are we going to talk about with this Chiefs team? Just guys warming up, 1, 2, 3 carries. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had about 17 yards on the ground. Jarrett McKinnon had like 19. You know Clyde is going to be the starter there at running back. Brian Pringle is a new wideout that they brought along. 2 catches, 10 yards and a score. I think he needs to work on his route running, though. I don't know what the fuck that was yesterday. Now I'm going to the San Francisco 49ers. Trey Lance was 5 for 14, 128, and a touchdown, that 80-yard fucking bomb. Now, if you want to talk about somebody that in more than one instance showed that he was close to Patrick Mahomes, it's definitely this kid. During draft day, I was thinking about Trey Lance for about 10-20 minutes. And coming from NDSU, it's a small school, and in 1 year, I didn't know what to make of that, honestly. Like, you hear guys rave about his arm. He makes a very good decision, especially on the ground, which usually it leads to big gains. And I didn't really see that. Well, you saw it in flashes with NDSU, but I wasn't 100% sold on it, and I think it was proven wrong, man. I'll just go with that. I'm not going to make any brash predictions on when I think he's going to get the starting role, because My fellow Paisan, Jimmy Garoppolo, gonna get hurt at some point this year. But let's not forget who Jimmy G is and his skill set. One of my new favorite running backs, Michael Hasty, 10 for 63 and a touchdown. Trey Sermon had a nice game with 9 and 26. The 49ers backfield is crowded. I don't see any of these guys going anywhere once the 53-man rosters come around, which is going to be good because when you can just plug a dude in, Raheem Mostert, Michael Hasty, Trey Sermon. They picked up Trey Sermon last year when they had an already filled stable at the running back position. But there is nothing like improving, and to help a rookie quarterback if old boy does win the job, you got to be solid running the ball. And then the 49ers defense is great on paper so far. I watched them for a couple minutes after I watched the Trey Lance highlight. So what can I say about the Niners? Honestly, trade Jimmy G. After a little while, let this be Trey's team. It's only been one game, so I don't want to toot his horn too much, but that throw was crazy. But they still lost. Trent Sheffield, a catch for 80 yards, which was from Trey Lance. He's a rookie. And another guy for the 49ers that grabbed my eyes when we had one catch was Jawan Jennings. This was 26 yards, and Jennings again has had these golden feet on him for the last half a decade, as he's now finally made it into the NFL. At one point, he was the fastest football player in the world. Interesting shit. Raiders over the Seahawks, 20-7. Russell Wilson must have been up somewhere here. For the Raiders, Nathan Peterman stayed in for the whole fucking game. He was 29, 39, 246 and a pick. He rushed for 32 yards and a touchdown on 6 carries. Nathan Peterman. So, all right, Derek Carr didn't play. The other backup was Marcus Mariota. I don't know. That's kind of like with who was it that had this one dude out there all fucking night? I'll find it. Anyway, I've seen Nathan Peterman, I believe, on the 49ers. He's all right. It's a smooth throw. He's a tall guy, so he'll be able to see the pocket. He's not a statue either. Definitely not in the blood cell. But he's not perfect either. He's not a great starter. A random guy in the Trey Ragas, 13 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. I saw him go off last year, and I'm drafting him this year in my fantasy league. Trey Ragas for the Las Vegas Raiders. You're welcome. So what else we got? Zay Jones, 3 catches for 57 yards. He's their number one guy, but definitely does not perform like a number one guy. More like a slot receiver. Cade Johnson, who's been stepping it up over the last 2 seasons, 4 catches, 25 yards. But the Seattle team will be a little bit better. The offensive line maybe protecting Russ. There was a specific stat that I saw last year. Okay, when they let Russ cook, he threw 11 touchdowns in 13 or something. As you know, last year that offensive line was porous as all fuck, and they really didn't do much to improve it, at least not in the draft. What they need to do is pay the fuck out of Dwayne Brown. Dwayne Brown, former Houston Texan, left tackle over there protecting Russell Wilson. He's one of the best in football. He's one of the best tackles we've had in the last half decade. So Seattle needs to pay him. They need to put pieces around him on that offensive line. Maybe 2 or 3. So Russell can get to the Super Bowl. Not only scoring 7 points. LA Chargers against the LA Rams 13-6. No Matt Stafford and no Justin Herbert. 2020 Rookie of the Year. But these two quarterbacks went at it. Chase Daniel, 15-24, 104 yards. He's just never going to be a starter. I think that retirement is coming soon. And Easton Stick, a guy who was not talked about last year. Went 7 for 7. He's like 6'5". He's a real tall, lanky guy. Easton Stick played for Penn State. That's where Trace McSorley actually played for too, the Ravens. He was 7 for 7, 60 yards. You don't score a touchdown. What are you doing? Darius Bradwell, 3 rushes, 18 yards, and a touchdown. Darius Bradwell, the knock on him coming out of school, and I saw it earlier, is the hands. Hands out of the backfield will get better with time, especially if you're a rookie. It's the speed of the game, and you eyes on the ball until you have the ball and make a move. And finally, I have the Colts 23, Panthers 18. What a great game, at least in the first 3 quarters. The fourth quarter of preseason games usually suck. P.J. Walker, 10 for 21, 161 yards, and a touchdown. He was the second fastest football player coming out of the draft. So Will Greer, 6 for 10, 31 yards. Will Greer used to play for West Virginia. They were good for like 1 year. He had some hype around him. But what stands out to me is Chuba Hubbard, and the way that other rookie running backs like him are able to find success very quickly. Chuba Hubbard reminds me of Nick Chubb up in Cleveland. He just looks like he's gonna fucking maul you, run you over, but he's got like a 4.46 40 time. Outrageous for a guy when you look at that contrast of size and speed. Who else do we have? And mind you, he had a 59-yard game when he was draped in Indianapolis Colts defenders, but fuck him, they won. The great Terrace Marshall Jr. 3 catches for 88 yards in his NFL debut. LSU wideout, played a little bit with Joe ACL Burrow, and Jamar Chase. They were on opposite sides. I think he's going to be a great pro eventually. As for the Panthers tight ends, Tommy Tremble, 3 catches, 19 yards and a touchdown. So that's 1 rookie scoring, 2 rookies scoring, 3 rookies made their name for the Carolina Panthers in this game. And those are all of your NFL preseason games. Please tune in tomorrow, and we will have a section or 2 new for the NFL leading up to preseason week 2. So I have now scores from the NBA Summer League. In overtime, Dallas beat Denver 85-80. Denver beat Dallas 89-85. Atlanta over Miami 94-90. Celtics smoked the Sixers 100-80. Indy over OKC 95-61. Toronto beats Charlotte 80-79. New York Knicks over the Cleveland Cavaliers, who lose here. 103-94. Phoenix beats Portland 79-70, and Detroit 103 to the Los Angeles Lakers 96. Yesterday, when I was talking about the Pistons and their victory, it was Cade Cunningham. At point guard, you can't really fuck with someone who's 6'8", 230, especially if he brings it down low. You might could have your forward to come help, or I'm not sure the center's gonna come out of the paint, but I don't know. Like there's a chance maybe. But Cade Cunningham has so far lived up to the first round hype. I don't like, as I explained yesterday, I don't like the slowness of his game, and that takes time. But the those post moves need to be a little bit faster, because when you go up against let's say, for example, the Utah Jazz, and one of the league's best centers in Rudy Gobert, Mr. Kobe. He'll swat that out, especially the way that Cade does that little swivel move with that pivot. I was explaining yesterday. That shit will get blocked like a motherfucker pretty damn easily, but with him he has time, and he's not the number one pick for any reason. So this was episode 131 for the Sportstalk. I'm Rocky Mescalai. One time getting ready to head on out to Chickpea and go lay down. Please do not forget that we are on YouTube. Please subscribe to us over there. On Facebook too. Share. Please, if there's something I got wrong with this episode, do not forget to leave it in the comment section or send me a message and we'll have that adjusted as well. Can't even describe in words. I wish you all nothing but health, wealth, and success. And we will see you tomorrow morning at some point for episode 132. It's gonna be huge. Just preparing you now. So I love you all. Wish you nothing but health, wealth, and success. Except for never mind. Anyway, good night.